There is a brand new horror film that's coming out this weekend, and it is easily one of the worst horror films to come out of this year, and I can't wait to shred this film apart, so let's get to it. Welcome back, film fans. It is Brad from Let's Be Real Brad, and today on the channel, I want to talk to you guys about the brand new supernatural horror film called Pray for the Devil. Pray for the Devil is directed by David Strom. This film's about a nun who prepares to perform an exorcism and comes face to face with a demonic force with mysterious ties to her past. So going into this film, I had very low expectations for this film, considering the fact that there were no press screenings for this film, and when I went to go check the movie out, there were literally no reviews for the movie, so that obviously leaves me being very nervous, because usually if there's no reviews for a movie, that usually means because it's really bad. Pray for the Devil is one of those horror films that comes out by a mini major studio like Lionsgate, and you think, oh, it's going to be an interesting movie, but it is one of the most boring bad movies I have seen this year. This movie takes itself so seriously throughout the entire runtime, thinking it's one of this really interesting and great and scary horror films, but it just fails to do all of those things. So let's just dive right into negatives first, and I have to start with the horror, because this aspect of the movie is just so significantly awful. The production team added a bunch of just fake scary noises to the film that weren't even like a jump scare, weren't trying to scare the characters. They're only there to just make the audience feel scared because it was a loud noise that was going on. It literally makes no sense, as I think there are about maybe 3 or 4 actual jump scares, and those are bad. But there are literally random scenes where like this little girl grabs the nurse's arm and then it's just like, ah! And you're like, wait, no one was scared, nothing happened. You just had a loud noise to get the audience scared. The performances in this movie are also really mediocre here, as I find most of the actors really trying their best, especially with this really bad and boring script, to just give it their all, but I just found the performances to be extremely mediocre and probably one of the better parts of the movie. But one of the biggest issues of the film has to be the story, as this is something we have seen 100 times over and over again, dealing with exorcism and the supernatural forces and demons, and I like that type of horror, but when it's done in the most boring, cliche, and unoriginal way like this one, I honestly just lost focus throughout the entire film, as this movie only really has one major twist that is so stupid it doesn't even make any sense, and like, yeah, I didn't see it coming, but it's not like it was a good twist. I just found it to be extremely awful and in your face, and didn't really try to do anything all that original or interesting, and it doesn't really make sense when you finish the movie. The presentation of this film is also so lackluster and dull and boring, and it's just filled to the brim with this god-awful artificial lighting where you don't feel like any scene in this movie was actually supposed to be dark, and it just feels like there's like a Snapchat filter that is filled throughout this film, as it has this dark, dull, gray looking feel to the movie, and there's nothing engaging for me to want to watch this movie. The shot selections in this movie are just really bad, and I think that has to do a lot with the direction here of just making this movie feel more immersive and just trying to engage the audience, and I feel like it's just the most standardized horror film that you could possibly think of. It doesn't do anything with the camera to elicit emotion or excitement or even tension with this film, and I know this is a very low budget horror film, as most horror films are, but when it looks cheap as it does and the movie's not good, I just can't be forgiving of this aspect, especially some of the makeup here that is literally just trying to be The Exorcist at this point. It was so blatantly obvious. It just looks so bad. I just didn't like the look of it, and I also found that the special effects just didn't really do anything for me, especially when this movie uses so much CGI that it doesn't make the movie look all that good, and it's gonna be outdated in the next like 10 years. But easily, the biggest issue, hands down, breakdown of this film that I would suggest you don't go watch this film, even if you're remotely sort of interested and you don't believe what I'm saying, is the fact that this has one of the worst pacing of the year so far. This is easily one of the most boring films I have seen all year, that I was ready to fall asleep, and I never fall asleep while watching any movie. Just ask my wife. I literally don't. But this movie was really pushing that, because nothing really happens in this movie. It goes exactly the way you think it's going to go. We have seen this movie literally 100 times over. This movie feels like it's a 2.5-hour movie. In reality, it's like an hour and 30 to an hour and 40. So if you don't want a boring horror film, and especially that's bad, just skip out on this one. Overall, Pray for the Devil is easily one of the worst horror films I have seen this year, and probably one of the worst movies I have seen so far, that just feels so uninspired and boring, and just trying to cash in on the small budget it has, and just trying to be in the Halloween season. And I just could not stand this movie. This movie has no rewatchability. I'm gonna forget everything about it, and if they ever decide to make a sequel to this movie for some weird reason, then I would never watch the first one before it, because I feel like nothing really happened, and it's just a really uninteresting, sanitized film. I am giving Pray for the Devil a 3 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for checking out this review. As I want to know below in the comment section, have you heard of Pray for the Devil? And if you have, let me know down below in the comment section if you're going to check it out. I would love to hear about it. Before you guys check out this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you want to, and ring that notification bell so I can see you all in the following video.